Let's talk about magnesium and pregnancy. Before we start this conversation, you and I want to explain to you that I am not a doctor. I am not diagnosing. I am not prescribing. I'm not telling you what to do. I love having conversations and both of us sharing back and forth what we've learned, what's happening, so that we can ask more powerful questions. Healthy women ask powerful questions. Okay, so that boundary's set. Are you ready? Let's dive deep on this. When I talk about magnesium for pregnancy, there are several places that I can go. So I read studies. My husband laughs at me. He goes, "Most women read romance novels and you read studies at night." I do read studies. I find them fascinating. They're not perfect though, because right now, if you go search for controlled studies on magnesium and the benefit to pregnancy, you will find it does nothing, and you will find that it decreases. I pulled up the list on my other screen. Um, Maybe I can't find it. Oh gosh, I should have had that highlighted. Oh, so the one study that was a valid study, had lots of people, said that magnesium did absolutely nothing. Another study I found that was another valid study said that the women, they did a plus double blind study, and that the magnesium slowed down. They had a lower incidence of intrauterine growth retardation, a lower incidence of preterm labor, maternal body mass index, neonatal weight, pregnancy-induced hypertension, preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, cramps of the leg, and better APGAR scores when, the score they give right after the baby's born. So I don't know where you're at with studies. I enjoy them, but I don't live by them. I like reading them. I like learning from them, but I also know they're imperfect because my husband was in a study. He was patient zero, and it was a massive, thousands of people, millions of dollars. And we were giving some feedback, and we just came to love the nurses. They were so fun. It was like we were doing a party every time we went, and he had to go once a week to participate in the study. And so we were giving feedback, and she was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. They've already determined how this is going to go." What? We're patient zero, and we're 6 weeks in of a year-long study. What? How does that work? And so that really shifted my view on studies. Like, I am not giving them as much weight. Now, that doesn't mean that's where you're at. For me, I read them, I like to learn from them, but I do not think they are the end all. So today is what I am going to share about magnesium, soaking in magnesium, not oral synthetic magnesium, but soaking in magnesium to achieve cell saturation for you and that baby. That's what I'm going to share. Over the last 23 years, I've kept notes, and the whole goal of living the good life naturally, some people think it's only magnesium, but it's not. My goal, and the thing that I'm wanting to create in my little corner of the world, is women feeling better, because when women wake up in the morning feeling really good, they lift people around them. And a lot of those people are little people. And when we make the world a better place for children, I feel like I've done that thing that I was meant to do in this world. And so this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and at the core of Living the Good Life Naturally's mission statement. Now, is what I have observed, and I have had the the awesome fortune of having women that it was their second and third baby and they were starting magnesium and hadn't used it before. And here are some of the comments that would happen. And remember, magnesium, you can only give your baby as much magnesium as you have. Okay. So you are determining your magnesium levels are determining that baby's magnesium levels. And some babies are born with their adrenals already trashed. Mom used up adrenals. And we don't want to do that. Adrenals for mom need magnesium, potassium, and salt, appropriate to what you need. Some people that's different. If kidney during the pregnancy, so you've got to figure that out on your own personal journey, how much potassium and salt you need to add. But adrenals run on potassium and salt. And then magnesium starts the process of jump starting all the things that adrenals need to do. So the feedback that I've gotten from moms that haven't soaked in magnesium compared to moms who have soaked in magnesium are things like this. All my babies have had acid reflux. This baby didn't. How does magnesium do that? Well, it's interesting because magnesium, there's a sphincter and it controls what goes into the stomach and what comes up. And that flap on that sphincter is controlled, open and close, by magnesium. So magnesium, part of acid reflux is low magnesium. And so making sure that baby has enough magnesium can help walk you away. Now, am I saying it's going to cure everything? Absolutely not. There are other factors. Magnesium is a big one, though. It's a big one. And it always astounds me the changes that happen. So, I'm a grandma now. And back when I was having my babies, yeah, you had babies that spit up and things, but you didn't have babies on acid reflux medication at 3 days old like you do now. It's worse, in my opinion, the acid reflux in babies, which makes sense because our magnesium levels have gone down. They haven't gone up, they've gone down. And so just for that, it's so incredibly important. And then you add on top of that the benefits of magnesium for the liver. And there's a great study done on when mom has enough magnesium, jaundice is reduced. But saying that, I want to make sure we're really clear on this. And that is, we are not blaming moms. Oh, you are magnesium deficient. Therefore, that's why your baby had jaundice, or that's why your baby had acid reflux. Absolutely not. We don't play that game. We don't put blame on. We learn and take action for the things that are right for us, right? So, no blame game. No, we're just going to say no to that. Magnesium helps to calm a baby. Magnesium helps to calm a mom. And there's being pregnant is such a beautiful, sometimes brutal experience. And anything that we can do to bring cortisol levels down is a good thing. And that's what magnesium does. It helps. It's the chill pill mineral. It's the original chill pill mineral. And so let me pull up, hold on here. Let me pull up this document. It was Sasha and Robin. This live is for both of them. And Robin asked, how much magnesium do I take? I look at it a completely different way that I want to share with you, and then you can make the decision that's best for you. I don't do isolated synthetic magnesium. That's not where I get my magnesium from. I focus on foods and I soak in magnesium. And when you approach it that way, we are looking at your burn rate and how to get to cell saturation. So, for example, my husband has a very, very low burn rate. The man is just chill, chill. I have a higher burn rate. Worry about the kids. I worry about the grandkids. Kind of get in my head sometimes. So I have a higher burn rate. I also have autoimmune. Now he has some chronic pain issues, and that increases his a little bit. You might be on medications that take your magnesium levels down. You might, when you drink alcohol, that drains your magnesium levels. You might have a sugar addiction that drains your magnesium levels. So, truly, how much you need is determined by the health of your body, where it's at right now, and lifestyle choices. Do you push yourself every night and stay up late? Do you exercise every day? How are your insulin receptors? How is your gut? Because if you have low hydrochloric acid, you're not absorbing magnesium at the full benefit. And so it's not how much, my question is, it's not, Robin, how much do I take? It's, have I achieved cell saturation? And then once that happens, how much do I need to soak to maintain that? So I'm a December birthday girl. And in December, I indulge I have a son. We call him the bearded one. I have a son who makes me um, floating custards. It's a Jamie Oliver recipe. They are divine, and I'm going to eat them. I'm not going to say, oh, I don't eat sugar. I'm going to enjoy those. So I know. And then December is end of year for my company. It's end of year for family and holidays and traditions, different varied ones for each one of us. And so it's a really busy time. And so I know in December that my magnesium burn rate is going to go higher. So that's why in January, I always do a 30-day challenge just to just to reboot my magnesium levels. And so I don't look at it as how much do I take. I look at it as, am I at cell saturation yet? And have I discovered my burn rate? And it is more work, and it's not for everybody. But when you put that work in with your magnesium, that's when you activate your vitamin D, your stored vitamin D, to convert to active vitamin D. And that's the first gateway of health. That's so important. Like, we have so many people doing all of these parasite cleanses and gut cleanses, and they haven't even looked at their vitamin D levels. When your vitamin D levels are in proper balance between active and stored, your body naturally starts to heal and seal your gut, the vitamin D. Your hormones get better. Your ATP energy gets better. But sometimes we get caught up doing all of this stuff over here, and we forgot to open the first gateway of health. And it starts with soaking in magnesium soak, and then looking at our active and stored vitamin D and determining, how am I going to get my numbers balanced? That's the first gateway of health. And when that baby has a mom that has that gateway in place, the baby has better health. And again, we don't blame moms. The other thing that magnesium does when the baby's in utero is, the more magnesium the baby has, it bends to get ready to the neck, the head bends down to get ready to come down the birth canal. And if it's a magnesium rich environment that baby's in, it's a much easier process. I cannot tell you how many women have said that last month of pregnancy, I soaked off and on throughout the pregnancy, but the last month I poured it on to really get my muscles relaxed and get my body ready and be in the best place possible. And it was the best delivery I ever had. And the only thing I did different was magnesium. Now, I'm not saying it's going to cure everything, because, well, yesterday I got called a snake oil salesman. That would be, I don't feel like I'm a snake oil salesman. She can have her opinion. That's okay. It would be a snake oil salesman to say, oh, magnesium's going to cure everything. It does not. It does not cure everything. It is the first thing that was depleted before the disease started. So let's go back to the beginning, go back to the basics, build a strong foundation, and open that first gate of help through soaking in magnesium, achieving cell saturation, and optimizing our vitamin D. And that takes a little bit. It's not just a take a pill and you're done, but the work is worth it. You are worth it. That baby is worth it. And a magnesium rich environment creates better liver function, creates a more flexible spine for when the baby comes down the birth canal. It helps the esophagus open and close. So we've got less acid reflux. So making, I think I use the word so when I don't know what to say next. I I need to really work on that because I'm hearing myself say so to the point it's annoying me, which I'm sure it's probably annoying you guys too. So I'm going to work on that. So Sarah, I didn't see your question pop up. I'm looking here and the comments are over there. How long does it take for people who have magnesium dependency and they depend on infusions? So here's the interesting thing with infusions, because they are beneficial. Some people, not everybody, some people really feel better after an infusion. It is synthetic magnesium that they're using, and it's not moving your numbers to your red blood cell numbers. And remember, with magnesium, Sarah, that is my only focus. Cell saturation and maintaining it. That's it. I want my red blood cells to be surrounded by magnesium. So, yes, I don't want to discount the benefit that anyone has had from doing a magnesium infusion. The benefit is not achieving cell saturation, though. And it's a very expensive way to achieve cell saturation that way because IV infusions are more expensive. And so the clients, and again, not prescribing, not diagnosing, not telling you what to do, sharing so you and I can ask powerful questions and learn. The people that I see that are using magnesium infusions are also soaking in magnesium and watching their magnesium red blood cell count. So you can do both. Again, my goal is cell saturation. That's it. That's all I want from magnesium, cell saturation. Because once I have that, I know that my body can take the magnesium and put it where it needs to go. Now, some people will say, oh, soaking in magnesium won't cross the blood-brain barrier. Yes, it does. 1988, a wonderful study was done that showed soaking in magnesium crosses the blood-brain barrier. So I don't mess with all these different types that you see coming up. The only thing I do with magnesium is achieve and maintain cell saturation. Now, the magnesium RBC test is not a perfect test. It is not a perfect test. And it will only test the 40% around your red blood cells. And the choices that you make, the state of your health, your gut function will determine how long it takes you to achieve cell saturation. I've seen people do it in 2 weeks. I've seen people not achieve it in a year. And so you really have to individualize the journey. And that's why I determined a couple weeks ago, I am showing up live on all the social media channels that I have every day to talk about this so that I can share what I've learned over the last 20 years of, if you haven't reached a 5 after the 30-day challenge, we've got to course correct, or you're just going to soak in magnesium and not do very much. And one of my other goals is minimum input for maximum benefit. I do not want to be soaking in magnesium every day. I want to be with my grandkids. We love driving the golf cart. That's really fun. Walking on the beach, thrifting for fun, vintage clothing, hanging out with my husband. His e-bike just landed today. We got him a trike. He's a double amputee. Are you ready for this? We're going to go for a bike ride. And I might cry the whole way because we just don't do that side by side stuff anymore. It's just too hard on him. So, gratitude will make a difference. Like right there, I just had this overwhelming sense of gratitude that we're going to be able to do things side by side like we used to. And that active gratitude, tapping into that several times during the day, will help you hold on to the magnesium and keep your burn rate lower. How long does that take for soaking, would you say, on average? Okay, so we just talked about this on the live, and I am so glad you asked this question. And I have not done a good job. I made a mistake, and I'm course correcting it. And I'm course correcting it in all my pamphlets and my text messaging, the 30-day challenge group, because I shared the optimal way to get to magnesium cell saturation, which is a 30-day challenge where you soak in magnesium every day for 30 days and then you go get your blood work taken. That's optimal. There's real life. I was talking with a lady on a live and she commented and said, I've got things going on in my life I'm not willing to share, but it's intense. I can't do every day. I'm doing 3 days a week, and then I'll test in 2 months and determine what needs to happen then. And so I realized, oh, I gave optimal, and real life is where I live. I don't think I've ever done a 30-day challenge where I have soaked every single day. Life happens. So make it work for you. Make it work in your schedule. The most important part is that you keep your expectations realistic. For example, when she determined I'm soaking 3 days a week, she knew in 3 days a week, she's not going to get the same benefit in 30 days. And so she extended it to 60 days. So she adjusted her expectations with the input she was giving. And that was a beautiful thing to watch, because if we don't do that, we actually increase our magnesium burn rate. And my goal is about living a life that I'm decreasing, that I'm actively having gratitude moments throughout my day, that I'm connecting deeply with people that I love, that I'm doing meaningful work, and I'm playing with purpose. I'm just playing because I want to play, or I want to swing with I'm writing in my journal, I'm reflecting, I'm spending some time in meditation. Those are things that will bring your magnesium burn rate down and help you achieve cell saturation. It's so important for babies. So important for babies. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing. You need to run any decisions you make during that pregnancy by your board of directors and the medical part of your board of directors. Because I just have to say that again, I'm not a doctor. I do want to share the benefit that I see with pregnancy when the mom has a magnesium rich environment. If most of us are walking around calcium dominant, and we need to be, calcium's important, but we need to be at cell saturation and create a magnesium rich environment. And that point, magnesium and calcium can work together. If we're calcium dominant, we lose flexibility in our physicality and our mental and our emotional. We want to be magnesium rich so that flexibility is there with calcium. And it's a part of why magnesium helps to build strong bones. we want to give those babies that strong jump start. And so soaking in magnesium throughout the pregnancy, and then that last month, really focusing on soaking, not optimally perfect, but real life soaking as often as you can. And the goal is to have those babies arrive as healthy as possible and to nurture them and love on them and create an environment that they thrive so that when they grow up, they can find their passion and their life's work. Oh, Sarah, I do not, um, the business, like, it's always been more than a full-time job for me. It's my passion, so it doesn't feel like a job, but I've always put in a lot of hours. And about 3 months ago, the business just blew up. And so is what happens, I don't even look at my emails anymore. As I focus on other parts of the business. So for example, during the night, I was on the phone with the Netherlands because their time difference, and we are running out of magnesium. And so instead of importing it through Chicago or Panama, we're actually air flighting it. The airplane that showed up was not big enough to get the, anyway, I was working on that stuff. I had to say, help, I can't do all of this. And so team has so graciously taken over my email, and is what they'll do is they'll take those questions and then they put them on this doc. So I'm looking at a doc right now that says um, breastfeeding, pregnancy, and magnesium, Sasha and Robin, and then the questions that they asked. And so when those questions come in, they go onto that doc, and then I just run through a question alive and just rotate through those. What I do have coming up, though, that might be something that you would enjoy is I'm doing VIP days. And 4 women is all it is. 4. It's very small, it's very intimate. We get on a Zoom and we everybody has a turn to tell what they've done, what's worked, what hasn't worked. We spend 3 hours and then we come up with a plan and adjust it to what will work in your life. And so I do have VIP days coming up that I'm really excited about. I I need to have that personal balance so I keep my health going. So there will be maybe 4 VIP days a year, and there's only 4 people in those VIP days. We work for 3 hours together intensively, and then I do a follow-up 6 weeks later to see, like, how's your plan working? Do we need to tweak anything? Did anything come up? Anywhere I can help support, kind of thing. And so that might be, if you're wanting more one-on-one. I had a program that was called Core 7, and with the growth of the business, I even had to cancel that. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever done because it was a group of women that I loved. We met weekly, or we met monthly. We did quarterly classes. We'd do a Q&A, and I even had to say, I I can't maintain this and keep magnesium where it needs to be for people. And so living the good life naturally is going through this huge adjustment period, and we're needing to learn new skills, new tools, new systems to kick in. And so if you do email those questions in, team will email you back, tell you to put that on a doc, and I just the oldest questions are at the top, the new ones go at the bottom, and then Shelly bumps up those questions that happen. So, and then that way I can be healthy at the end of the day too. Um, is how do we know if we are magnesium deficient, and what is the best kind and way to absorb and get the benefits? I have been burning and tingling symptoms in my feet and legs. I am taking 2 magnesium glycinate that has turmeric and ginger, and just started taking magnesium citrate for constipation. Okay, first of all, Marilyn. Oh, I'm so excited that you're taking so many action steps and you're asking questions. Healthy women ask powerful questions. Now, please remember, I'm not a doctor. I am not diagnosing. I am not prescribing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm sharing with you what I would do. I am someone who 23 years ago was on feeding tubes and having seizures and in a wheelchair with a lot of my hair falling out and in and out of the hospital. I didn't raise my children for 3.5 years. And so I'm just sharing with you from my perspective what I learned, and now I've had the privilege of just helping thousands of women and tweak it and make it work for them in a way that works in their life and works for their brain. And so is what I would do. I don't take oral synthetic magnesium. My only goal with magnesium is cell saturation. And so I would start soaking in magnesium. My concern with magnesium citrate is how hard it is on your gut. Yes, it does move things, but at a cost, because that peristaltic action is important for the tone and the quality in your gut. And if you're using something to do it for the gut says, oh, I don't need to do that. And it loses tone. So you've got a short term benefit, but the long term consequences, in my opinion, aren't worth it. So a product that I did a really smart thing. I have all the products here so I can lift them up and show you. That was Shelly's idea. And I was like, why didn't I think of that? So I would do the magnesium 30-day challenge, soak in magnesium soak, get your blood levels tested, see where it's at. And then I would add my miracle tea. I kind of have to admit, I thought this was a silly name when the product was sent to me to try. let's just get clear. This is amazing. It decreased my high liver enzymes. It helped increase my peristaltic action so it doesn't make your gut lazy and expect more magnesium citrate. It's herbal, it's incredible, and I've only had 2 people that in the years I've carried this, that haven't been able to get it to keep their bowels moving. So that's where my focus would be, is cell saturation. And I would use this. When you go to the website, Living the Good Life Naturally, and click on products, and then click on the My Miracle Tea, the more you buy, that well, can you, yes, Sarah, I can't right now during the live, but I can go on after. It is hard to see that because it has a bag on it. It has like shiny. It's on my website, livingthegoodlifenaturally.com. And when you buy more, you save money. So the first tier, if you buy 4, it saves you $5. The next tier, I think, is you buy 12 and it saves you, I think, 21. And I buy it a year at a time because it puts the cost at half price and it stores really well. So that's what I would do. And remembering, you do you. I'm just sharing. It's so important that I don't come across like I'm telling you what to do or diagnosing or prescribing, because that's not my role at all. I do love sharing what I've learned and helping, as you and I connect, helping to ask more powerful questions. So thank you for being here today. I would love to know, what was the powerful insight that you're walking away with? If you would throw that up, it does a couple of things. It opens up our give receive cycle. Some women aren't creating help because their receive cycle is shut down. So for example, if I went, "Oh, your skin is so beautiful." Oh no. Oh no, no, no. You're not receiving that compliment. I taught a class not too long ago and I gave away, I think it was a $50 bill. And the lady was like, "Oh, no, no, no." She couldn't receive that money. We need to open up our ability to receive so that we can receive help. So, is what I'd like to do is, hopefully, I've been giving to you and you've been receiving. I'd like to change the tables and I'd like to receive what was your powerful takeaway. And then that way you're not stuck in one mode. You're flowing. Feminine energy flows and you're flowing back and forth with that give receive cycle because we need both. And there are times it's appropriate to receive, and there are times it's appropriate to give. The other thing it does is it helps you take the insights that you had during this time together, and it helps file it in your brain more effectively so that when you're out there asking those questions, doing those things, you can pull up an orderly file about what you learned. So I'd love to know, what was your takeaway today? What were the insights that you connected with? Because technically, even though we've talked about health, we haven't created health on this call. It's the action that we take that creates health. Action creates health. And sometimes we can get caught up in thinking researching health is making a difference. Well, I spent 3 hours today. Nope, you just read about it. Now you need to do something. And so I'd love to know, do you have a powerful takeaway from our time together today? Let me know in the comment section. And tomorrow, I would love to have you join us because we are doing Friday favorites. I love Friday favorites. I have Friday favorites planned out for months. Friday favorites is just my favorite health products, health related products, and skin products because I love skin products. I'm a little bit of a product junkie, and there are some that I really love that I want to share with you. So tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific time, here on Facebook and or YouTube, I'm streaming both. And I'd love to have you show up so we can talk about some Friday favorites. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.